and we should be live here. I don't know if you got Facebook up, but I don't. I usually don't. I usually leave it on here, sometimes on my phone. Hey, so what's up, Kevin, man? We're live on Facebook. How are you today, man? I got Kevin Kendrick here with the Kendrick team of here in Lake Nona of Keller Williams Advantage 3 Realty. And I'm glad he came on. How you, buddy?
Hey man, I'm doing excellent, man. Thanks for having me. This is such an honor that I get invited, and so yeah, man, I'm doing great.
Yeah, you're usually doing just your lives, right? So it's get
I'm
on
usually on
someone
the other
else's.
side. I'm in your chair normally doing the interviewing because I love, obviously, one of the things is Lake Nona, and I love sitting down with people who make Lake Nona great. And a lot of those are business owners. You and I, before we came on live, we, talked. I've interviewed moms and our city council member, and I'm still trying to get Lou Holtz to let me interview him. So
Yeah, he is. He's tough to slow down. I remember the first time I met him was at a. So I worked years ago. I worked for one of the local dealers,
mhm.
and Jay Mealy. So I worked for Don Mealy.
Yeah, Don Mealy Chevrolet.
Yeah, so I was at their Mazda store, and he and Holtz are like best buddies, right? So
Mhm.
they uh, they had for management, they had a little thing, and Lou Holtz spoke. So everybody's running up to him to get an autograph.
Right,
I am a Miami Hurricane fan, and I hate Notre Dame in
right.
football because I grew up with that rivalry, right? So I
Yep,
didn't, but I know the legend of Lou Holtz, right? I know who he is,
right.
what he is about. So I run up to him and I'm like, "Hey, you want an autograph?" I'm like, "No, I want you to go see my wife for eye care. She just opened up." And so,
Yeah.
so he was like, "You don't want a picture, nothing." I'm like, "All right, I'll take a picture, but really, just go see him." So he said to me, and he's always told her, "Hey, I'm so busy, so when I come in, just please be ready for me."
Yeah.
So
He's
he's
been, we've actually been emailing back and forth, and we actually had it set up for me to go in and interview him, but then the whole virus thing happened. So I won't lie. He actually wants to do the Zoom type format, but I don't. I want to see Lou Holtz face to face. I mean, I've seen him in the community all the time, but I want to like hang out with Lou Holtz. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I used to see him. What did it used to be called? The tap room.
the Nona Tap Room. Yeah, man, that's a good place.
So you'd be sitting at the old bar, and he'd walk in the side door, grab his to go, and take off, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, he's definitely awesome. But I know that I guess he's got a lady you got to call, right, and get to him through that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
He used to have a lady that kind of intercepted all
Oh,
that stuff for him.
yeah. So that's who I initially went through, and I think they both manage the same email account because some days I'm emailing with her, and other days I could tell the tone changes, and I'm emailing directly with him. So, but they've both been great, and they're both very open to meeting. And if it happens, great. If not, then we can do this format. So,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I know Don Mealy would say that he's the only one he knows that can hit a golf ball and get to the golf ball before it lands.
yeah.
So that's cool. Well, so I see that, and I've tried to reach out to the Lake Nona. I see them doing lives and stuff. I think they had Tom Ward on the other day.
Oh yeah, Omar from Lake Nona Social.
I've tried to message them a few times to see if they want to chat or anything. Um, I never seem to get a response.
They're well, I'll text you his cell number. They're good people, man. Both Lake Nona Social and Nona Hood News, they both do a great job
Oh,
keeping
good.
people doing great events in the Lake Nona
Yeah, and that's
community and
why I've
keeping people
reached out
engaged.
because I always see that. I'm on their page. I follow them, and I know they're really busy in this time, but it'd be cool to talk to them too and kind of see what they're doing.
Mm.
But anyway, as far as you're concerned, obviously real estate is how you make your living.
Yeah.
So first things first. I mean, above before anything else, how's that going for you?
We're actually off to a great start. And ironically, I mean, God's good. We have obviously it's slowed down in just a different type of slowdown. So we still are listing homes. We still have homes under contract. In the last 2 weeks, we've listed, actually today's Thursday. So in the last 3 weeks, we listed 6 homes. And 3 of those are under contract, and we have homes being shown today. So it's just changed, and we've put steps in for our sellers, but we still have homes, we still have buyers, we still have sellers, and the virus doesn't change what we do. It just changes the way we do it. Um, I actually, I trimmed my beard before I came on. My beard was looking as thick as yours.
Nice.
And so but I still got my pajama bottoms on, but I've been working since 6 o'clock this morning. So so business is great. And I think there's a lot of people who are, hit the pause button. What I've told my sellers is, if the real estate market was going down, the 417 going 65 miles per hour, now it's going 5 miles per hour in a no wake zone, going through a canal, going towards, one of the rivers, because it's just slowed down, but there's still serious buyers out there.
And I mean, obviously, I'm part of Keller Williams Advantage
Mhm.
3 too. And I do obviously a different type of real estate than you do. I'm more on the investment side, but I see that the team that you guys have, Debbie Irons, obviously she's a huge mentor of mine and a good friend. And I see that she has been, man, highly motivated with her team over there to really help and get that place going in the right direction, give everybody the tools to do what they need to be successful during these times. And that's refreshing.
Yeah, I'll say this, and I don't know what any other brokerage is doing other than EXP, only because I have friends who work for EXP and they've invited me to some of their trainings, and I've attended. But the platform that Keller Williams, as far as the national level, the North Florida region level, and then even just our Keller Williams, the training and the opportunities to keep people engaged has just been mind blowing. I mean, it really blows my mind that when Keller Williams started doing their, very similar to this, like, the Zoom meetings, that they were getting some of the top agents from the country talking to us about what happened when the market crashed in 08, 09, 10. And then you have James Shaw, who created a Facebook page that when I joined, I was like number 500. And now there's like 60,000 people that he does a live broadcast every morning. Today I was the host at a team meeting in Sarasota for Keller Williams, talking about how our team has shifted and what we're doing differently. So just to see the schedule that Debbie and Dave Frazier and the ALC at Keller Williams Lake Nona has put out, that's the best part. It's amazing. And, Yvette she shared with me, and I've shared with a bunch of people, is, we're put in our homes, that we're doing our best not to leave except for food. But if we leave this pandemic, whether it's the end of April, end of May, end of June, end of July, if we leave the pandemic and we're in the same place, personally, professionally, socially, then we've wasted a lot of time doing a whole lot of nothing. And so professionally, Keller Williams is given us the tools to say, guess what? You know what? Yeah, you're not going to be out showing homes. You're not going to be meeting face to face a lot at all anymore. And so the training has been great. I applaud Debbie and her team and the North Florida region and Keller Williams International. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think that it's nice to, obviously we've had some transitions in team leader over the last
Mhm.
couple of years.
Yeah.
But to get somebody like Debbie has definitely been nice, at least in my opinion. Everybody else was
Yeah.
good people, but for me and for my feelings, and I think for what she's been there 14 years or something. So it's good to have one of your own kind of, and somebody with the type of she's such a good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when they announced the change, I was very neutral. I didn't really feel one way or the other. Uh, and at the time I had been recruited by another brokerage, and I met with them, and I was very open to both, because I love Keller Williams. And, it was actually one day I just went into the training room after it was announced, and Debbie just got up. She walked over. She was in a conversation. She came over. She gave me a big old hug. And I came home and I told Yvette, we're staying. We're not going anywhere. And I'm happy. And so I've been happy with KW. I'm happy that, our team leader lives in our community and she's very vested in the Lake Nona community. It's, I think our last three team leaders going back to Rich Carpentieri. The other three, they didn't live, work, or play here. That's not an indictment of them, but Rich Carpentieri lived here. Debbie Irons lives here. And I think, it's different when you go to Lowe's or to Publix and you see your team leader. Uh,
Yeah.
you
And the
know,
community knows her. I mean, I remember meeting her. Gosh, I don't know how old I was. It was over 12 years ago. Cynthia was going to open up her first optical. And I heard about all these different community get together things, whatever they call them, coffee talks and all that
yeah,
stuff. And that's when I met her. She was there in the community back then. And
she was when Yvette got, so I've been licensed since 2010, but I joined Keller Williams in 2014 and my business took off in 2015. But when Yvette got licensed, we actually went to Lake Nona Social, what we were just talking about. Uh, Her and Jeff had been in the business together, I think probably for about a year. And so we actually went and had dinner and a beer with them, and they just kind of talked about some of their struggles, what's worked for them and what hasn't. And, Yvette and I, we've been able to take that and we've met with other couples and shared with them what's worked for us and what hasn't. And the interesting thing is whereas there's a lot of husbands and wives working from home right now and they're struggling to get along, we've been practicing for this. So, I'm in my office, Yvette's upstairs in her office, or she's in the dining room. And we really haven't had that cabin fever fight like some couples have, just because we've been used to doing it.
yeah, my wife hasn't buried me yet. So,
Yeah,
uh,
you're still talking and still alive.
oh yeah. As far as I see you helping a lot in the community. I don't know. It is a community that is, it's a middle class to upper
Mhm.
class area. So are we seeing a lot of people that are in need for groceries or anything? Or is there things, what's going on with our local restaurants? Is there something in play that we can help them other than like today? I think you saw me post for Tom. And what kind of stuff are you putting out there, or who are you talking to? Who needs help?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest stereotypes of Lake Nona is that it's a wealthy community. I think a lot of people, they think the country club. When I grew up in Orlando, so when Dr. Phillips was first built, they called it Gucci High, and because everyone had the Gucci High type, and so I do think there's that stereotype, but there's still a need. You have a lot of families who culturally they put multi-generational families in one home. So you'll have a mom and a dad with two kids. You'll have a grandmother and maybe an uncle living in the same house, and that uncle may have a kid too. And so based on just depending on that family dynamic, one family might be middle class, but the other family living in the same home may be displaced. So I know that when I say we, I mean my family, my team, but also the Lake Nona community. We've been very involved working with families that are considered homeless, single moms. So there's still a need in the community. Is the need the same as a community over by the Citrus Bowl, Orange Center, Oak Ridge Road, Pine Hills, Mercy Drive? No, it's completely different. But we do have families who struggle, and especially right now because you have a lot of families that just got laid off. You've got single moms with 3 and 4 kids not getting child support, and then they got laid off from their job. So that's a struggle. So, but I have seen the neat thing about it is unlike the winter gardens, the winter parks, the Maitlands, which those communities are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. I think Winter Gardens 100 years old. Windermere is 100 years old. Lake Nona reality is the majority of the people's moved here in the last 5, 6 years. And so a lot of people know each other. I've been here for over 10 years, but I grew up in South Orlando. I'd put money on it. 80% of the Lake Nona community has been here for 5 years or less. So we're all connected through the schools and through social media. And because of the social media platforms, we have 3 major players in the social media game, is needs get met. And, we had a mom with 4 kids and she got diagnosed with COVID. And, people were offering everything. I mean, paid bills, paid food, everything. So I think the last part of your question was in the restaurants. So there's still restaurants still open. Some of them have shut down. So, Graffiti Junction just closed down on Sunday, which is one of the places, me and my family, we like to go. Marlowe's Tavern is still open. Nona Blue closed down. So two of my three go-tos are closed. And, Pig Floyd's, I know you were talking about Thomas earlier, he's running, out here maybe once or twice a week. And, you know, I, for us as a family, we eat out a lot. We haven't during the pandemic. So we've actually been saving money and cooking at home and eating dinner at the dinner table, the way I grew up. And so it's been good. So I think that's one of the changes we'll make is we'll continue we actually bought a grill. So we've been grilling,
We may
and
do this more often when we get through this.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of changes that's going to happen in the world because of the pandemic. I think you're going to have a lot of people working from home. Some of the changes we've made in our business are for the good, and a lot of the changes we've made within our family have been for the real good. So we're going to continue some of those.
And you, I know, being an educator, your whole first career, how are our teachers doing here? Are there, how are they holding up? How is that going? Are they getting used to the process? I know there was some initially, I'm sure, to get 50 kids on a Zoom in a public school had to be tough.
I think a lot of them, it's an adjustment period, and I think a lot are slowly adjusting. The ones that I've communicated with, I've got in Lake Nona, there's 8 principals, and 3 of them, I text on a pretty regular basis and talk to, and just to check in on how they're doing, and of course then it filters to a lot of the teachers. So I think there's the biggest struggle I think for many of the teachers is if they have young kids at the house. So it's hard to teach. Like if I were teaching you right now and I've got a first grade student and he's going to come in every 5 minutes, Daddy, how do I do this? Daddy, how do I do that? I'm blessed. I've got 2 high school students that they're doing schoolwork that I can't do. I mean, one's in 9th grade doing pre-calculus and the other one's a junior doing calculus BC. I don't know how to do that. So I'm blessed. I don't have to teach them any because they're on their own. They're very self-motivated. So I think that's a struggle, especially if you have young kids, having that balance. I think a lot of the teachers have slowly figured out the routine and the schedule. Speaking to our community, the Lake Nona community, I know North Lake Park, because I was speaking with one of the administrators over there on Sunday night, maybe Saturday night, and he was sharing how of all the students in the school, let's say 800 students, only 70 don't have computers. So that's pretty good that only 70 students have to get packets mailed to them for the students to do their schoolwork. Whereas what about you go to Oak Ridge or Pine Hills or Mercy Drive, where it's probably closer to 90% of the students don't have it. And I'm sure those teachers, it's a little bit more of a struggle because they're having to pick up their phone and do a lot more phone calling versus a lot of the Lake Nona teachers are, majority of it's probably able to do through Zoom and Blue Board or whatever it's called, Canvas.
Yeah, that's I think so. My kids are at the First Academy across town.
Yeah, TFA.
And, and they've been there since one started there at TK and one started at First, and now one's in 5th and one's in 9th. And they started at the beginning of the year. I don't know if it was this year or last year where the kids get an iPad. So they brought home an iPad prior to all this, and they got it all set up. So everything has kind of been right through there. They get on their meetings in the morning, they get on their Zooms, they get on their classes, but it's still teachers trying. I mean, can we say enough about our medical staff, our teachers, our law enforcement? I mean, what they're doing now just to keep the world functioning.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, I mean, if you kind of look behind me, I mean, I've got all my sports hats and my sports stuff, and inside my desk, I mean, I've got my ball cards that let me see if I'm trying not to lean back too far. I got some of my popular baseball. I mean, I got a Barry Bonds rookie card, man. Well, and so,
let's start a bid on that. Can I get one?
Yeah. So I think look at this. Ryan Sandberg rookie card. How about that?
Other than you and I, nobody listening would probably know who that is.
Dale Murphy.
I have a
Tony Gwynn.
Dale Murphy. I have, my kids were like 3 and 7, and we were at a Braves game at ESPN when they used to play,
Yeah.
and he signed their balls.
Yeah. Oh no, Dale Murphy, man, he's awesome. So, but I haven't, honestly though, I as much as I love sports and I love going to the movies, I have not missed Hollywood and I have not missed sports. Now college football,
Yes,
that's a different story,
I love
but
that.
I haven't missed the NBA, haven't missed baseball, anything else. So that goes back to being able to spend more time with family, take walks, bicycle rides, things that we put off.
So being that we are considered the second largest medical city behind Dubai,
Hmm.
we obviously have a lot of medical facilities, and we're growing in that direction. Um, what is Lake Nona been kind of looking like in this COVID thing? Are our VAs getting packed? Are our Nemours, is the different hospitals, or have we been ducking it a little bit?
So I think we've been ducking it. So the VA has more confirmed. So they do the confirmed cases by zip code. So the VA has probably, let's just throw out a number. I don't know the exact number, but let's just say they've confirmed 50. Well, in the Lake Nona area, we only have, as of this morning, I want to say it was either 36 or 37 confirmed cases in 32827, 32832. So a lot of people are getting confirmed at the VA or they're getting confirmed at Guidewell, and then when they register it, they're registering it by their zip code. So to my knowledge, and I spoke to um, a current customer, and she's pretty big on the totem pole over at Nemours, and she said they've had no confirmed cases at Nemours. So as of yet, but I do know that they've had confirmed at the VA.
That's great. Yeah. And so what you're saying is there could be 50, 100, 200, 300 cases confirmed at the VA. However, when they get confirmed by their own personal zip code. So
Where they live, correct.
36 of those could live in one of our zip codes, whether it's 27 or 32, right?
Right.
And the rest of them could be over wherever they're coming from.
Yeah, but overall, I think the community as a whole has looked out. I mean, we've got ladies in North Shore and in Laureate Park, and I know other parts of the teams come from different sections of Lake
They're
Nona.
out there with their sniper rifles, right?
Yeah, no,
They've got their sniper rifle is next door.
Yeah.
Our community, as soon as someone hits something, it's like next door.
Yeah. Well, but these ladies are like making masks, and like the masks with the filter in them so that the nurses can put over their actual regular mask. And I've seen nurses go on to Facebook and say, hey, I'm a first responder. I'm a nurse at ORMC, and I don't have time to go shopping. I need a thing of Lysol wipes. Can anyone help me out? And next thing you know, she's got 20. And she's got dinner for the next 3 nighs. So that's
awesome.
I think that's just the uniqueness of Lake Nona, because once again, the majority of the people have only been here for 5 years. And the people that they're new and they want to help others, or they've been here for the 10 to 15, I think other than the country club, the majority in the Isle of Pines area, the majority of Lake Nona has been built since 2015. So
even since we came
2012.
out, I mean, I remember, so Cynthia's been open 11 years. So that complex was built right around 10, 11 years ago or 12 years ago.
Yeah, I've been here for over 10 years now. And I remember driving out here to go to the country club. And I'm like, man, why would anyone ever live in Lake Nona?
I remember coming out to the private shooting range.
Yeah, and now I never leave. Look, man, I wear Lake Nona's t-shirts on my day off, man. I mean, I'm always representing.
When they first opened the school, it was like all 3 level schools in one.
Yeah, they had North Lake Park, which is where I live, which was doing K-5, and then when they opened up the high school, it was 6 through 12. So, and they had Valencia was on campus too. Valencia took up a whole building. One building was high school and one building was middle school.
It's definitely amazing what it's become, huh?
Oh, hey, it's insane now.
I'd love if you would obviously share the video with your team and your page, and then put in how people can get a hold of you, whether it's on the real estate level. I do investment, so I'm cool with that. If someone reaches out to you through my platform, and then
I'll give you a referral fee.
Yeah, cool. And obviously your network, your page.
Oh yeah, so the Narcoossee News page, for those watching, we run a community page in Lake Nona, and we've got just under 11,000 members. And if you take into account that the Lake Nona community's got between 20 and 25,000 members, we've got just over half the community that's on this page, which is how a lot of people have stayed connected. There's a good portion that's on, if you remember, I said there's 3 platforms. Another one is Lake Nona Social, which we were talking about, and the other one being Nona Hood News. So most of Lake Nona is connected through social media. I know there's a lot of, I don't do Nextdoor, but there's a lot of people on Nextdoor as well.
Yeah, and I know that, and it's probably on your page when you guide people there, but I know that Kevin does a lot of local events throughout the community during the year, whether it's during the holidays,
Mhm.
whether it's just because he feels like doing something, you'll see him out
Yeah.
there. I know he's got a big bacon fest, I think, that he does with some of the local barbecue shacks, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we love what we do. We've been blessed to, because of my background in the school system, we've been blessed to partner with the schools and the teachers, and getting to know a lot of the local businesses and local restaurants. So it's been, it's I don't want to use the word it's easy, but it's fun to do something on a big scale, and knowing that, let's just say feeding breakfast to all 5 elementary school teachers. That's 500 teachers. Can't afford to do it all by ourselves. But if you partner with all the different business entities in your referral partners, and everyone chips in 200, 300, $400, now you have 500 teachers they're excited to come to work, and then they're going to go home with a smile on their face. And, it's that one gesture of just a hot breakfast may have made the biggest difference in that teacher's life for the day, because they had a bad night the night before.
And I think that all of us, um, I know my wife would say, what are you seeing? You're not helping the kids. I'm the one out here doing the teaching, right? But I think if I speak for the ones that are in the house teaching that weren't homeschooling before, have a kind of a newfound respect for teachers and homeschool parents, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen some really good teacher memes. One of them being, the teacher holding the glass saying cheers to all the parents who think they can do it better than us. And then there was one the other day that had the parent calling in for a substitute. I'm sick, I need a sub. And so there's been some really good teacher memes, and it's tough. I cannot imagine what my day would be like if our boys were in elementary school right now. And trying to
Or
run
if
a
you were
business.
still a principal, right?
Oh gosh, well, if I was still a principal, I probably wouldn't be talking to you. So the
Crazy right now.
but yeah, I mean, thankfully, when I left the school system, I left on good terms. And I mean, gosh, to look back and to see how our business has grown and changed our lives. And it's not like we're out there driving Porsches or Lamborghinis or anything like that, but God is good, and we've had the opportunity to help others because of our business, which we would not have been able to do in the
Otherwise,
past. And and this is just an example, and this isn't tooting our own horn, but and I know, Daniel, you and your wife are the same exact way. We have a friend who they had to take their daughter to the doctor, and it was going to cost $120. And I just texted my wife. I said, Zell her the money, or send her the money, whatever, pay for the doctor's visit, because she's not working. And I said, pay for the doctor's visit. And we didn't do that I mean, she's not buying a house or anything. We did that because God's put us in position that we can do that, and we can
it's the
help.
right thing to do.
It is. And that's why I said it's not tooting our own horn, because I know you and your wife, y'all do that too. And, and it breaks my heart, because then you see the mom posting on Facebook what's wrong with her daughter, and you're like, man, hopefully she gets through the doctor's visit, she gets everything that she needs so that the daughter's healthy. But we've been very blessed in our lives, and definitely blessed in our business.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pastor, Derek McRae, on the other day. I don't know if
Yeah,
and excuse me, he's doing a lot of the grocery distribution out there and
I saw that.
in the communities, because I mean, as you know, most of these students get fed in the school program
Mhm.
there, and without schools being opened, the kids aren't getting fed.
Right.
So They were distributing. So myself and David, I don't know if you saw, we said we'd match the first $1,000,
Mhm.
and they ended up raising like $2,500 from that.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
he said he's been, so that was cool. So he's out there, he's able, because he says he's turning away people. The church has to turn away people because they just don't have enough groceries.
Yeah, and it's neat to see how the community has come together. Churches, schools. Lake Nona High School was not initially on the food distribution for Orange County Public Schools, and I was, I reached out to my school board member. I disagreed with that. I reached out to OCPS, to my contacts, and I said, look, I know there's more need in Pine Hills, but there's a need in Lake Nona too. And the very first day it was open, they handed out over 400 lunches or snack packs, whatever they called them. So 400 families felt the need to get in their car and drive to Lake Nona High School, majority of which live in Lake Nona, to
To
get
get
food.
food. Yeah, and that's
So,
what my, as you know, you're a patient of my wife's.
yep,
Uh,
I got my readers from time to time.
yeah, and she said to me that a lot of she's always kept affordable glasses,
Mhm.
relevant to what glasses cost, right? Because she says the same thing you say. A lot of people believe that all of Lake Nona is Lake Nona Country Club,
Mhm.
and it's just not. So if people are coming in trying to sell and only stocking that rich, wealthy $1,000 brand stuff, they don't realize look at that, 400 families that needed to eat. Um, I don't think people realize that there are people here, like you said, and I've talked to David Pavlik about that when he used to live in North Lake Park, and his kids were in Lake Nona High School, and he would say, "You don't understand how many families are like 20 in a house. They've all come from
Mhm.
somewhere overseas or South America or somewhere to bring everybody to a safe haven, and they're all in one kind of tight knit quarter, but
Mhm.
they wanted to do it in a neighborhood they could feel comfortable in."
Right. No, I agree. I see that. And, my wife is Puerto Rican, and, it's cultural that, there's a very good chance, like 90% chance, that one day one of her parents will live with us. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I get along great with her parents. And ironically, my parents, they won't. They will, one will, once one passes, the other one's going to stay in the same home they've been in since the early 1980s.
Well,
And that's
my
just
wife
how
is
they are.
Puerto Rican as well. And what's
Yeah.
funny is just last night at the dinner table, she was saying that she spoke to, I'm sure you know Chatin Ritchie, one of the local
Yeah.
contractors. He's the one when our house flooded that kind of rehabbed it for us. She said she was just talking to him on how to put an extension when the time is right to bring her parents here. So again, Puerto Rican, it's
Yep.
part of the life.
Oh,
They're
I love it. I love that. We were supposed to go to Puerto Rico in June, and we canceled our trip.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to Colorado right before this whole thing started. So um, I can't wait to get out of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I'm going to be a little more disciplined when we come out of this.
Yeah.
I'm learning some things. I just don't know how I'm going to get back into, like, I think I was talking to someone earlier. I don't know how I'm going to get back into like real life where you got to leave the house, drop the kid off at school, go to
Mhm.
your office, because it's been kind of nice just to roll out of bed and sit here.
Yeah. No, it's just it's a shift, and I think we'll shift back into it. But I think there's a lot of good habits that both you and I and others have developed during this time period, and I think the biggest one for us has been eating at home as a family, cooking at home. And I think those are things that if you ask my wife would be at the top of her list that she wants us to continue. And I'm okay with that. I love going to Nona Blue and graffiti and Marlowe's and Chroma and all that, but we save a lot of money,
Yeah,
a
we
lot
can
of money.
we can do that at lunchtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to. I've got someone coming on at 2 that
Awesome.
is with a roofing company. So right now he's out in Missouri
Oh, wow.
dealing with the storms, but he's going to talk a little bit about roof claims and stuff. I know we're going into kind of that season,
Hmm.
so I figured I'd have someone like that on, get some information out there.
No,
Uh,
that's awesome.
Hopefully, it's
But
well received.
yeah, thank you so much for having me on today. It's a blessing and an honor.
Yeah, man, let's do it again. I have no problems. I like talking
Anytime.
to you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
brother. Yep. Tell
Take
your
care.
wife I said hello.
I'll do it for sure.
All right. Take care.
Your buddy.
Bye.